All right, guys, my podcast is finally launching on June the 4th, the Thought Snob podcast with Paula Swope. I mapped this out yesterday because I wanted to show you a look into the episodes for June and July. Now, our first episode, we're kicking it off with Joe Moody. Now, when we filmed his interview, he had 2.7 million followers, but now he's got 3 million followers. There's a reason for that. He's a genius in his field. I invited him to be a guest because of his unique expertise in Qigong, psychology, and self-care. And I named his episode, Confused About Life. You won't be after this, because that perfectly encompasses our enlightening conversation. Love this guy. He is tagged in this video. He is well known on social media as Joe Drummer Boy. Oh my God. So on June the 4th, we got these 3 episodes dropping, okay? So the second one is Monica Harden. Oh my God. I cannot say enough wonderful things about this woman. Emmy Award winner, breast cancer survivor, former Miss Kentucky. I mean, I can keep going. The title of her episode is Former Beauty Queen Reveals the Magic Potion for Peace. And reflecting on the conversation we had during her interview, that title just seems to capture it all right? So then we have another Emmy Award winner, Danielle Radin. Lord have mercy. The reason I reached out to Danielle about being on my podcast was because of her expertise with narcissistic personality disorder. And the name of her episode is Scary Truths About Narcissists. Now let me tell you, this conversation is not for the faint of heart. I asked her a question about narcissistic people that I'd always wanted to know the answer to, and the answer she gave me sent cold chills down my spine. All right? Oh my goodness. And then we've got my lovely British friend, Rebecca Lyons. So I split her interview into 2 episodes because our conversation pivoted midstream. I did not realize that Rebecca had a near-death experience last fall. So when she brought that up, it just really opened up a whole other can of worms. And so the first episode with Rebecca will air on June the 11th, and the second one will air on June the 18th. The title of the first episode is The Akashic Records Know Everything About You. And the second episode is What Life Looks Like After a Near-Death Experience. All right, June 25th, David Waldy's episode drops. Now, he is widely known as the Fierce Empathy Coach. I stumbled across his videos on TikTok, and I knew he was the perfect fit for my podcast. His story, you all, is unbelievable and a true inspiration because he used all of his horrific experiences and turned them into helping people. I titled his episode, Living the American Dream and Still Suicidal. And just let me say this. If you are not crying and inspired and shocked and just feeling all the feels when you listen to his interview, oh my gosh, I will be so surprised. That's all I got to say. My jaw dropped several times. This lovely lady right here has changed my life. This is Jamie D. Her episode airs on July the 2nd. So she has a very rare skill set. She's a specialist in BEST, and BEST stands for Bioenergetic Synchronization Technique. It's truly, truly incredible. Somehow or another, she uses this technique and she syncs the subconscious and the conscious mind, and when this happens, it sets you free. That's the best way I can describe it. So the name of her episode is Free Yourself from Your Past with Bioenergetic Synchronization. This is an episode that everyone in the world needs to listen to because a tragic event led Jamie to this work. And like most healers, she used that tragic experience to transform her life and the lives of others, okay? Now here on July 9th, we have Sarah Beth Terry. And let me just say that Sarah Beth is one of the most intriguing human beings I've ever met. She's absolutely brilliant. She's a Nashville recording artist, singer, songwriter, and stand-up comedian. Now, both of us are from Eastern Kentucky. We met on TikTok, but that's what brought us together. And because we're both from the same area in Kentucky. And our podcast interview exposed like many ridiculous beliefs that we were taught and accepted those beliefs as truths. And those beliefs have ruined women's lives throughout history, okay? And so I named her episode, The Big Lie in Rural America That No One Wants to Talk About. And regardless of where you're from, you need to watch this because the beliefs that are instilled in us when we're young can make or break us, all right? Okay. Oh my goodness. Alana Higginbotham, her episode airs July the 16th. She's the author of The Mental Breakdown. You can buy it on Amazon. Now, I invited her to be on the show because she's a renowned figure in the field of personal development. Her work has been featured on the Today Show, and she is just a powerhouse of an advocate for mental health. I'm telling you, I could sit and talk to this woman all freaking day. I named her episode, How to Say No Without Over-Explaining. And we covered so many problems that people struggle with day to day and offered solutions to those problems. I loved every moment of my interview with Alana, and I know that you will too. And last, but certainly not least, for July 23rd, this will air. Now, this is a little different from the other episodes because we turned this live workshop that I did with members of my Manifestation Challenges community group, we turned this into a podcast because the information that came out of this workshop is platinum. That's why I named this episode, Everything You Need to Know About Living a Great Life in an Hour and a Half. Like, so many insightful questions were asked, and that gave me an opportunity to cover everything you need to know about how to improve your life. We covered everything from relationships, surviving breakups, manifestation, law of attraction, quantum physics, emotional control, emotional intelligence, forgiveness, raising your vibe. Seriously, we covered everything. So if you're a podcast enthusiast, please keep my launch date in mind. It's June the 4th. The first 3 episodes will be available that day. All of my June and July guests are tagged in this video, so I hope you check them out and support their accounts. And I'll be back with more updates a little closer to June the 4th.